Hi everyone, hope you are feeling positive and healthy. Please subscribe with bell notifications if you haven't already, and please don't hesitate to leave your feedback and advice below. Thank you very much. Let's jump into the stories. Am I the unreasonable one not wanting to reconcile with my brother who outed me as a minor and caused a bunch of pain? My fam is conservative and religious. When I was 16 my brother found out I was gay by finding me on my hidden. So I thought, so CM'd. He didn't tell me he knew until a few months later my parents got on his ass for something trivial I can't remember and he basically outed me to take the heat off of himself I'm guessing. He was 19. I was kicked out, lived with a friend's fam until I turned 18 and barely graduated HS because of all the stress. Couldn't go to college BC couldn't afford it. Parents never contacted me except maybe once in a while through relatives to guilt me and ask me if I was still gay. They missed me and how much I was hurting them and crap like that. I had to block a lot of numbers. I've gotten on my feet now mostly, but I'm not rich by any means and I'm in a good relationship so things were working out fine. But a few months ago my parents contacted me again through a cousin and basically said they heard I was doing well financially and they forgive me, lol, and to please reconcile with them. I said that's not happening fully, but I did end it on a positive-ish note to get them off my back. They also told me to get back in touch with my brother, but that I said no to. Now mom texts me almost every day I mostly ignore her one-word answers and it's always the same guilt-trippy stuff about how family is imp and I need to talk to my brother. It's been over 10 years, just found out through a slip of her tongue that he's actually struggling financially and she's basically trying to get me help him out. I sort of blew up, not at her, but internally, blocked her and can't stop feeling betrayed. But I also feel like an a-hole deep down because I know how hard it is to struggle, and I'm very easily guilt-tripped most of the time, so I feel like I'm being a bit of a ick. I know it's probably irrational. Not the unreasonable one. Funny your mom says family is important, but kicked you out. In your story, it sounds like your brother never apologized for his actions. If he had any regrets about his actions, then the least he could do is say sorry. You picked yourself up from the floor, your brother can do the same. If he can't, then survival of the fittest. Not the unreasonable one. When you throw out a 16-year-old and mess up their education and life opportunities, you cannot expect to be forgiven. Am I the unreasonable one for refusing to babysit my grandchildren and potentially costing daughter-in-law a job? My son has 2 children, 4 and 2, and his wife took some time off to be a stay-at-home mom. She has been trying to return to the workforce for a while now and she finally got an offer in her field. The earliest she can get the kids into daycare is a week after when they want her to start and they asked me to watch the children for a week. With their commutes it would be about 9 hours a day of childcare. I probably would have done it for my other son. But watching these children comes with so many rules. They are vegetarian and on a strict diet and last time I watched them food was not provided. Daughter-in-law is very strict about language. The TV isn't allowed to be on. I don't even watch TV. But I had to put that in there because I found it so rude. She wants the 4-year-old to do some enrichment worksheets that I would be expected to do. There is a very strict schedule. I do understand naps, but I think the rest of it is too much when I would be doing them a favor. The biggest issue is I wouldn't be able to have anyone at the house while they were there. I see my friends almost every day and if I'm providing 9 hours of childcare I'm not going to be one-on-one with the kids the entire time. She thinks my friends are bad people and she is very strict about the influences on her kids. I told my son that that's way too much to ask of anyone and they need to find a professional. He begged me to reconsider, but I really don't want to and daughter-in-law called crying the other night about how important this job is to her. Also, we live in a very low-risk area and she is not worried about COVID, she just thinks my friends are terrible people. Not the unreasonable one. I'm so sick of people treating grandparents like free childcare. They're just kids and it's okay if the rules slide for a week. That's why kids love going to their grandparents. I think you should make it clear that you'd absolutely love to take them if daughter-in-law is willing to compromise. But if she won't budge then that's not on you, she can find someone else to be a boot camp instructor. You're the unreasonable one. This sub loves to say you're not obligated to do XYZ, which I agree with to some extent. But realistically that's not how the world works. But anyway, from the title I thought you were going to say you've been asked to look after them full time, but you've been asked to help for a week. Yes, okay, the rules are a bit much, but you'd rather your daughter-in-law not get this job to support the family because it would inconvenience you for 5 whole days. Do the right thing and help your son and daughter-in-law out. Am I the unreasonable one for overreacting when my mom tried to endanger my health? Throw away for anonymity. The incident that really upset me happened a month or so ago. I, 16 years old female, had been getting really dry skin around my eyes, and kind of looked like a panda as the area was red. I told my parents about it, and they asked me not to wear any eye makeup for a week or so to see if something was irritating it, as it wasn't painful. Sure, makes sense. A few days after, I asked my mom if she had any heavier moisturizer I could use, as I know she uses some. She told me my dad had got moisturizer from the doctor for eczema on his leg and that it wasn't prescription, just something you could pick up at the shops if you knew what you were looking for. I agreed to try it, so she passed me a box. It had a prescription label on it. Immediately I was confused, so again asked her what it was, but she just told me to stop being dramatic and just use it. I opened the box and it does just look like a tube of moisturizer, but I read the little slip that comes with it. Do not use near or on the eyes. Can cause cataracts. I refused, saying it wasn't for the eyes. I was again told I was being dramatic, and my mom asked my sister for her opinion and she agreed with my mom. I just refused and went downstairs, saying labels are there for a reason, etc., etc. I told my dad about it when I went downstairs. Turns out that tube wasn't moisturizer, it was steroid cream. So, pretty awful to put on your eyes. He was pretty shocked to say the least. My mom still refuses to admit she did anything wrong at all, saying I was being ungrateful as it would have worked just fine, and making a big deal out of nothing. I'm so confused, because I thought that would be kind of a big deal. Am I the unreasonable one for reacting this way? Not the unreasonable one. Your mom is a major a-hole. For her to carelessly give you something without making sure to read or if you're even allergic or if it's safe is a huge red flag for me. Not the unreasonable one. Could have ended a lot worse if you hadn't read the label. Am I the unreasonable one for shaming my son and daughter-in-law on the internet after they named their baby after me? I have a fairly unique name which comes from Greek mythology. The first time I met my current daughter-in-law, she commented on how beautiful it is and asked a couple questions about if people pronounce it right and if I like it. She has been with my son for 5 years and she had mentioned a couple of times how much she loves my name. Besides my name, she doesn't like me very much. She is hyper-controlling and doesn't like that I won't restructure my entire family so she can have her way. She just has a lot of issues and always seems to be on the verge of a nervous breakdown, and it is exhausting. When she got pregnant, the first thing she did was give me a list of rules, and I just found it insulting that she didn't even wait and let things come up naturally. Also, there are so many rules that I think she needs to hire a professional and not expect any help from me. We had a huge fight mid-pregnancy because I refused to buy any gifts because the list of rules about what to buy was insane. We didn't speak much for the duration of the pregnancy, so I was shocked when she named her daughter after me. Really, I just think she likes my name. I've only met my granddaughter once and she hovered over me and made me uncomfortable the entire time. She pretty much told me I am never going to be allowed to babysit, which is her right. But if I'm such a horrible person, why name the baby after me? Since it is a fairly uncommon name, people were asking about it and they both claimed they named her after me, so I commented on a picture that it's so flattering they named the baby after me. But surprising when I'm not actually allowed to have much of a relationship with the baby. She blocked me on all social media. Info. What are 3 examples of her rules? Why specifically do you say she needs professional help? Also, thank you for the award, kind stranger. Not the unreasonable one. I cannot stand how this sub always sides with the daughter-in-law like every in-law is some demon. Daughter-in-law can be a-holes too, people. Not everyone is some innocent party that is mistreated. I would be exhausted just being around her daughter-in-law, always on the verge of having a breakdown and then demanding someone to rearrange their family lives to her liking is a surefire way for someone to be disliked. I would like for OP to elaborate on some of the rules. Are they normal and rational rules, or are they completely out-pocket craziness? I don't blame OP for questioning why her daughter-in-law is naming her child after a person she claims to dislike. What rational human being names their child after someone they cannot stand? I am changing my ruling based on the information below. At this point, I wouldn't like this woman. The biggest one to me is that she thinks she can control the diet of other adults. Am I the unreasonable one for not supporting my boyfriend's music career? Throwaway, on mobile. 29F, he is 28M, so for the first 3 years of our relationship he never said he wanted to start a band or anything of that nature. He played guitar, but his words were, "I just do this for fun." It was mainly at night when he was winding down after work or if he was having a really stressful day. It was simply his way of releasing the tension. Within the past 2 years though, it has become much more than that, which I was okay with in the beginning. He is really good at what he does, though he does need quite a bit more practice. So when he originally started going over to his buddy's house for band practice, I had no problem with it. He could learn a lot from this friend after all. However, it has now become a cash hog hobby. In the past 2 years we have spent well over $8,000 in musical equipment. Just so you get an idea, 5 acoustic guitars, 6 pieces of recording equipment, beat pad, loop pedals, mics, soundproof wall decor, recording apps, etc., a piano, a ukulele, 3 electric guitars, 2 bass guitars, an electric drum kit, a regular drum kit, various different posters with chord techniques, multiple books that have yet to be used, tuners, etc. We have nowhere to put all this crap, so it is gently placed in various corners throughout my home. I own my home, so it's fine that we have spent this much money. But at the same time, it is getting out of hand, especially where he has not landed one single gig throughout these past 2 years, and he has cut back on his hours at work to accommodate to his band schedule. He only works 16 hours tops a week now, which is far less than the 60 plus he was working. I, however, still work full-time. So the other day he invited me to my first ever experience of their band practice. I was extremely disappointed. They didn't play any music at all. It was them sitting around a garage drinking beers and talking about what they should play basically. My boyfriend pulled out a notepad and started playing a song he wrote. Turns out it is the same song he began writing 2 years prior, and it is far from complete. His drummer then looked at me and said we only do this for fun after I asked if they were trying to get gigs. So I waited until we got home to confront my boyfriend. I told him that I thought this was supposed to be an actual thing, not just something he does for fun, especially with the amount of money we have spent and where he has basically cut down his hours to nothing. He then felt attacked, of course, and said that I was an off for not supporting his music career. Am I the unreasonable one? This sounds like a career in the same way that fishing is a career. Both are just excuses to drink beer at odd times of the day with friends, for most people anyway. Not the unreasonable one for wanting your BF to either make it an actual, money-making career or else join the rest of the grown-ups and get a job. Not the unreasonable one. If he wants a music career, he has to treat it like a job. There's nothing wrong with having an expensive hobby, but if you start working less and expect your partner to support you financially because of it, you're becoming a freeloader. Right now, this is an expensive hobby. You should set down some boundaries, making it clear that if he wants it to be a career, he needs to treat it like a job, not a time to hang out. You're financially supporting him, and that's not cool if he isn't actually trying to make this a career. If his bandmates do it for fun, he needs a different band where everyone is career focused. Subscribe and turn on the notification bell for more stories delivered to you. Thanks for listening. See you later.